There is one person in your life right now who smiles at you, who laughs with you, who tells you they have your back, and who is quietly hoping you fail. You don't know who it is yet, but by the end of this video, you will, because Machiavelli discovered something the world tried to bury, something they never taught you in school. He said, "Men deceive themselves into believing that good deeds can silence enemies. They can't. And here's the truth that will change how you see every single person around you. Character is not revealed in years. Character is not revealed in conversations. Character is not revealed in promises. It is revealed in 3 seconds. 3 specific moments. Most people miss them. You are about to see them. Stay until the third one, because the third one is the one that will shock you most. The lie you were taught. You were raised on a lie, a comfortable lie, a lie so well dressed, so well spoken, that you never questioned it. The lie is this: give people time, you'll see who they really are. You believed it. You waited, you watched, you gave people years, months of trust, seasons of loyalty, and then, somewhere along the road, you got blindsided by someone you trusted, someone you defended, someone you called a friend, maybe a partner, maybe a colleague. Maybe someone who sat at your table, ate your food, laughed at your jokes, and was rotting on the inside the entire time. And you sat there asking yourself, how did I miss this? You didn't miss it because you're stupid. You missed it because you were taught to look in the wrong place. Time does not reveal character. Pressure does. Resistance does. Opportunity does. And the dangerous ones, the manipulators, the narcissists, the covert predators, they have spent their entire lives mastering the performance. They know exactly when to smile, exactly when to be vulnerable, exactly when to say, I've got you. They have rehearsed the mask. They have perfected the mask. And the mask does not slip over time. It slips in moments, specific, brief, almost invisible moments. Machiavelli understood this. He watched kings, he watched advisors, he watched men with power and men who hungered for it. And he wrote, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. That word, few, most people never see it, because most people aren't looking. But you, after today, you will be one of the few. Because once you see these 3 things, you cannot unsee them. The psychology of the mask. Every human being alive is performing. Every single one. You are performing right now. I am performing. Performance is not dishonesty. Some people perform to protect themselves. Some people perform to connect. Some people perform to belong. That is survival. That is human. But there is another kind of performer, a darker kind. These individuals do not perform to connect. They perform to control. Every smile is calculated. Every act of kindness is an investment. Every conversation is a transaction. And they are extraordinary actors. They can hold the mask for days, months, sometimes years. But here is what Machiavelli taught. No performance is infinite. The mask requires energy, sustained control, constant calculation. And the human nervous system, under the right kind of stress, will betray everything in a split second. A micro-expression, a shift in tone, a reaction that does not match the role they are playing. These are called thin slice moments. Psychological researchers call them behavioral tells. Machiavelli called them windows into the soul. I call them the 3 tests. And every person in your life has already taken them. You just didn't know you were watching. Test 1, the micro-denial, the boundary test. The first test is the simplest. It costs you nothing. It requires no setup, no planning, no confrontation. All you do is say no. Not a dramatic no, not a harsh no, a small no, a gentle, completely reasonable no. Sorry, I can't help with that right now. No, that doesn't work for me. I'd rather not. That's it. Watch. Because in the 3 seconds that follow that word, you will see everything, and I mean everything. A person of genuine character will accept it, not reluctantly, not with silent punishment afterward. They will simply accept it, because they understand you are a separate human being with your own limits, your own energy, your own right to decline. They respect that. They do not need you to be endlessly available. They do not need you to obey. But the manipulative personality, the entitlement-driven predator, cannot absorb that word without reacting. And the reaction is never loud at first. It never starts with an explosion. It starts with something smaller, more dangerous. A flicker, a micro-expression of disgust, a jaw that tightens, a smile that drops for exactly half a second before they reconstruct it, eyes that go flat, cold, Brief. But there, they catch themselves. They put the mask back on. Oh, no worries, totally fine. But you saw it. If you were looking, you saw it. Pause. And then watch what comes next. Because here is where they really reveal themselves. The slow punishment begins. Suddenly they're less available. They forget to reply. They become subtly cold. They make a small comment designed to feel like a joke that stings just enough. This is what psychologists call passive aggression as punishment. It is the manipulator's preferred weapon because it is deniable. What? I was just joking. You're so sensitive. I didn't mean anything by it. But you know, because you said no. And a psychologically healthy person does not punish you for having limits. Only someone who believed they owned you does that. Machiavelli understood this principle at its core. He wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps." The trap here is this: you believe the punishment is about the situation. It is not. It is about the revelation. They have shown you that they do not see you as a person. They see you as a resource. And resources are not supposed to say no. Remember this. The next time you offer a small, reasonable no to anyone, observe the 3 seconds that follow. You will know everything you need to know. Test 2. The silent funeral. The envy test. The second test is more subtle and more painful, because the people who fail this test are usually the ones you love most. Here's the test. Share good news, not with everyone. Share it with someone specific. Tell them about a win, a promotion, a goal you achieved, a relationship that's going well, something you worked for, something you're proud of. And then watch their face, not their words. Their face. Because words are rehearsed. But faces, for just 1/2 of 1 second, are honest. A person who genuinely cares about you will light up, not because they are performing happiness, but because your joy activates their joy. That is what real connection does. It creates resonance. Your win feels like a shared win. Your progress feels like their progress. This is called emotional attunement. It is the psychological marker of a real ally. But the envious individual, and there are far more of them than you want to believe, reacts differently. The face drops. For a fraction of a second, it drops. You see something flicker across their eyes. Not happiness. Something that looks almost like disappointment. Then the mask reconstructs. They smile. "That's amazing. I'm so happy for you." But the words feel hollow, and you feel it. You always feel it. That strange, inexplicable flatness, like you just shared something precious and the room got colder, and the comments begin, subtle, crafted. "Oh wow, how did you get that?" With just enough skepticism in the tone. Be careful, that usually doesn't last. Lucky you, not a celebration, a deflation, designed to make you shrink your victory, to make you question whether you deserve it. This is the anatomy of covert envy, and Machiavelli warned, there is no avoiding war, it can only be postponed to the advantage of others. The envious individual is always at war with you, a silent war, fought with dismissals, with faint praise, with the steady erosion of your confidence. They do not want you to fail dramatically. That would be too obvious. They want you to plateau, to stay at a level they are comfortable with. Because your ascent is their reminder of their own stagnation. I need you to understand something. This is not bitterness. This is not paranoia. This is pattern recognition. The most dangerous enemies in your life are not strangers. They are the ones who know your plans, who know your weaknesses, who know exactly what you're building, and smile to your face while hoping the walls come down. The silent funeral is the test that reveals them. Share a win. Watch the face. Give them 3 seconds before the mask returns. What you see in those 3 seconds is the truth. Pause. Hold that truth, because we are not done yet. The third test is the most disturbing of all. Test 3. The impunity factor, the power test. There is a version of every person around you that you have never seen, a version they keep hidden, not because they decided to hide it, but because the circumstances that would reveal it haven't appeared in front of you yet. That version only emerges when they have power, when there are no consequences, when someone weaker is beneath them, when no one important is watching. This is the third test. the most revealing test. Machiavelli called it the test of dominion. I call it the impunity factor. The principle is brutal in its simplicity. How does someone behave toward people who cannot fight back, toward people with no status, no leverage, no social value in their eyes? Watch how they speak to the waiter, not to you, to the waiter. Watch the tone that appears when they think you aren't paying attention. The impatience, the contempt, the casual cruelty dressed as confidence. Watch how they treat the person below them at work. The intern, the assistant, the junior employee asking a basic question. Do they teach? Do they guide? Do they acknowledge? Or do they dismiss, humiliate, perform their authority to an audience of subordinates? Because here is the truth that separates wolves from human beings. A person of genuine strength does not need to perform power over the powerless. Real dominance does not require victims. Real strength is self-contained. The man who needs to humiliate a waiter is not powerful. He is terrified. He is extracting status from someone who cannot defend themselves because he does not have enough earned status of his own. He is addicted to the feeling of being superior because in every arena that truly matters, he does not feel it. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." This line has been misread for centuries. Machiavelli was not celebrating cruelty. He was documenting it. He was warning that leaders who rely on fear instead of respect are revealing their own fragility. Because fear is borrowed authority, and borrowed authority always expires. The man who rules by humiliation is always one act of resistance away from collapse. He is not dangerous because he is strong. He is dangerous because he is desperate. So watch for this. When someone is given power, even momentarily, do they wield it with restraint, or do they expand immediately into cruelty? Do they protect those beneath them, or do they exploit them? This test cannot be faked, because there is no social reward in the moment for behaving well. No one is watching. No performance is required. What comes out in those unguarded moments is not a reaction. It is a revelation. It is the interior design of their soul. And now, I need to stop. I need to pause here, because the most important thing I will say in this entire video is about to come. And it is not about the people around you. It is about you. The inward turn. The reflection you did not see coming. I have given you 3 tests, 3 tools, 3 ways to observe the people in your life. And if you have been honest with yourself as you listened, you recognize someone, maybe several people. Maybe a face appeared clearly in your mind. Someone who failed the boundary test. Someone who cannot celebrate your success. Someone who turns cruel the moment no one important is watching. You recognize them, but here is what you must face now. And this is the part most people skip. Most people listen to a video like this and immediately think about others, about who in their life is manipulative, about who they need to cut off, about who is toxic, and they never once turn the lens inward. So I am going to ask you something, and I need you to sit with it, not react. Sit with it. When was the last time you reacted badly to a no, not explosively, not dramatically, but subtly? Did you pull back? Did you go cold? Did you make a comment just sharp enough to land? When was the last time you heard someone's good news and felt, in that half second before you composed yourself, something that wasn't happiness, something that tightened in your chest, something that whispered, "Why them and not me?" And when was the last time you had power over someone, even briefly, and you used it just a little harder than you needed to? If you answered honestly, there was at least one yes. And that does not make you a predator. It makes you human. Every person on earth carries these instincts: entitlement, envy, the hunger for dominance. These are not moral failures. They are ancient survival mechanisms, hardwired into the nervous system, millions of years old. The difference, the only difference that separates the dangerous from the sovereign, is whether you own them, whether you see them, whether you refuse to let them operate on others. The manipulator in your life does not see themselves as a manipulator. They believe they are justified. They have built an entire internal narrative that explains perfectly why their cruelty was deserved, why their envy is actually wisdom, why their punishment was actually setting boundaries. They cannot see what they are, because they never turn the lens inward. You are doing that right now. That is not weakness. That is the beginning of real power. The strategic response. What you do with what you now know. You have identified them now, maybe one person, maybe 3. Maybe you are sitting with the uncomfortable weight of a name you did not want to see, and now you are asking, what do I do? Let me tell you what not to do. Do not confront them. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Confrontation announces your awareness, and awareness is your greatest advantage. The moment you tell a manipulator that you see them, you surrender the one weapon they cannot defend against. Machiavelli was explicit about this. He wrote, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by strategy. Confrontation is force, and force, against someone skilled in social manipulation, will always lose. They will deny, they will reframe, they will make you appear unstable. They have done it before to others, they will do it to you. So instead, you become silent, not hostile, not cold in a visible way, strategically quiet. You begin the withdrawal, slow, deliberate, invisible. You stop sharing your plans with them, your ambitions, your wins, your vulnerabilities, everything that you once offered freely, you now hold, because information is fuel, and you are no longer fueling them. You reduce access, not all at once, gradually, like turning down the temperature degree by degree until the warmth they depended on is simply gone. This is the Machiavellian exit, quiet, bloodless, unannounced. You do not storm out, you fade out, and by the time they realize what has happened, you are already gone, already beyond their reach, already beyond their ability to influence, manipulate, or diminish. Let me give you the specific tactics, not philosophy, not theory. Tactics. Tactic 1. The information fast. Stop updating them. Stop sharing wins before they happen. Stop discussing plans before they are executed. Stop processing emotions in front of them. Give them nothing to work with, because the manipulator requires information to operate. They use what you share against you, sometimes immediately, sometimes months later, in a moment designed to wound, starve the machine. When they ask, be vague, not rude, vague. Things are okay. Just working through some things. Nothing major. Short, uninformative, undramatic. Tactic 2, the emotional flatline. Stop reacting. This is the hardest one, because these individuals are skilled at triggering reactions. They know which comments create self-doubt, which silences create anxiety, which moments of dismissal make you seek their approval. They built this map through observation, and they use it precisely, so remove the reward. When they make the comment designed to sting, give them nothing, no defense, no hurt, no justification, stillness, a nod, a subject change. Indifference, real, practiced, sovereign indifference, is the only response a manipulator cannot weaponize, because there is nothing to weaponize. The hook requires a reaction. Remove the reaction, the hook dissolves. Tactic 3, the selective circle. Begin building a different kind of relationship, not with people who share your frustrations, not with people who validate your suspicions, but with people who build, people who celebrate without resentment, people who accept limits without punishment, people who use power with restraint. You have the tests now. Use them before you invest, before you trust, before you open. Apply the 3 tests early: a small no, a small win shared, an observation of how they treat the person with no power. These 3 tests will save you years, years of misplaced loyalty, years of drained energy, years of wondering why you feel depleted after every interaction. Because the right people, the rare ones, the ones worth building with, will pass. They will accept your no without punishment. They will celebrate your success without jealousy. They will treat the powerless with the same regard they treat the powerful. These people exist. They are not the majority, but they exist, and they are worth finding. The death of the old self. But here is what I really want to leave you with, something deeper than tactics, something that will sit with you long after this video ends. You did not find this video by accident. You found it because something in you is done. Done being the one who gives endlessly and receives contempt. Done being the one who trusts and gets blindsided. Done being the one who performs openness while the people around you perform loyalty. There is a version of you that is being asked to die. Not your heart, not your warmth. So here is your new standard. You do not give access freely anymore. You earn your way into your circle. You demonstrate your character through small moments, under small pressures, in unguarded spaces, or you do not enter. Period. You are no longer available to everyone. Your energy is no longer distributed like charity. It is invested, deliberately, into people who pass the tests, into people who deserve the architecture of what you are building. The manipulators will call you cold. The envious will call you arrogant. The entitled will call you difficult. Let them. Because what they are really saying is that you are no longer usable. And that is the highest compliment a sovereign man can receive. Remember the 3 tests: the micro-denial, the silent funeral, the impunity factor. Apply them without emotion. Observe without attachment. Act without announcement. And build the life with the people that you actually deserve. This is Machiavelli. This is clarity. This is your power. Not your capacity for real connection, but the version of you that is naive, the version that ignores the signs, the version that excuses the behavior, the version that says, they didn't mean it. They're just going through something. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. That version of you has been bleeding power for years, and the bleeding ends today, because you now carry something that version of you did not have. Knowledge, not paranoia. Knowledge. There is a difference. Paranoia suspects everyone. Knowledge observes everyone. Paranoia closes you off from life. Knowledge selects who enters it. You are becoming selective, precise, calculated, not in a cold way, but in a sovereign way. The way a man builds a fortress, not to hide inside it, but to choose who he allows past the gates. Machiavelli did not write The Prince to teach cruelty. He wrote it to teach clarity. Clarity about human nature, about the performances people give, about the masks they wear and the moments those masks slip. He wrote it so that the man willing to see clearly would never again be blindsided by someone he chose to trust with eyes closed. You are now that man, eyes open, signal sharp, still capable of trust, but only extending it to those who have earned it, through the tests, through the time, through the consistency of character when no one important is watching. This is not hardness, this is not coldness, this is not the closing of your heart. This is mastery. Mastery of the most difficult skill a man can develop, the skill of seeing people for exactly who they are, not who you wish they were. There is no greater power than that, no weapon sharper, no armor stronger, than the man who cannot be deceived because he stopped deceiving himself. If this video exposed something you recognized, comment the word sovereign below, right now. No explanation needed, just that word. It tells me you see it. And it tells the algorithm that this kind of truth, this level of clarity, deserves to reach more men. If this video shifted something in you, share it with one person in your life who needs to hear this. Because the man who walks away from this video with his eyes open is a fundamentally different man than the one who pressed play. Subscribe, because what's coming next goes even deeper.